Alrighty, so I'm here to talk about JavaScript and hoisting in JavaScript. I'm Jimmy Sue. I'm a full stack engineer, mostly doing contract work. Yeah, and it's one of those, like, I don't know if anyone here worked a lot with JavaScript?
Oh, a little bit, just
All right.
not a lot, not
Totally
enough to
the
know about
crowd.
hoisting.
All right, so
Sorry, I have a little bit.
So in this presentation, I'm having some pretty basic assumptions that you know what variables are, you know what functions are, and if loops. We good on that?
Yeah, basics of programming. Yeah, we're probably all familiar.
So why do we care about hoisting? If you're a JavaScript programmer, it is massively important because it changes in a lot of how you would code, and if you don't catch it, it could cause screw-ups like this. Now, that's a bit contrived. I'm fully aware of that. It's actually not the best example, but the best example would involve scopes, and then I'll be out of the scope of this talk. So, but yeah. So when it comes in situations like that, it's really difficult to tell. Like, actually, let's take a guess. What do you think would actually be logged out?
Like what console.log
Yeah.
will actually be called?
Which one? Let's take a vote. So the first one. Raise your hands if you guys think the first one
The function.
will fire. Or the second, var self-destruct. Second one. All right,
Say
you're
second.
actually wrong. It's actually the first one. And I will go a little bit more in depth before I go to terminology. Confusing people since 1995, which is when JavaScript was created by Brendan Eich in the rumored 1 week. Pretty crazy. So just a couple terminology. We have variable declarations, which is what you see there, left to the right. Variable, my variable, and variable definition assignment is just there. Combining the two is the third one, in which we just basically squish them together. And then this is the more interesting one, which is function declarations, and below that is function expressions. Now we got that out the way. So this is what you would see when you're writing out the code on the left side. You would go console.log, A, and then when you do that, you go through. What happens when you run that is it'll do console.log A. Instead of throwing in, I believe it's a type expression error. Don't quote me on that. But it's a reference error, which is saying that A doesn't exist. A actually exists, as you can see on the right side, because of how the interpreter works. It does two passes. First, it passes through and finds out all the variables and the function declarations. And then the second, it actually goes through the second pass and actually runs it all. It's a weird quirk of JavaScript, and it can really throw you off a lot of the times. And it's good to know this, as you go through and build out larger applications, because different things can interfere with different things, and it's a whole mess. Now, when it comes with functions, it's a little bit different. So we've talked about function declaration or declarations and function expressions, which is the first one on the top. Function myfunc is a function declaration, and var myfunc equals function is expression. So what happens is all declarations are hoisted and brought above variable definitions. So in essence, if you can really look at the function expression, it's very similar to a variable declaration. You can see it goes there to function goes to the very top, and then it goes to var myfunc right below that. And then when you call myfunc, it'll console log declaration instead of expression. So it's one of those weird quirks, and it really changes how you would write functions and define functions in your code. When you see this, you have to keep aware that when you do it with through a non expression, it is always brought to the very, very top. So some people prefer that style, some people don't. It's kind of up to you. And there's different ways to manage it as well. Your ninja JavaScript skills, plus plus.